G'day all, it's Colin from PCTLC and thanks for joining me. We're in Hackman Linux and we're going to have a look at installing this on my Lenovo IdeaPad 110. We'll see how it runs on here. The last program I had on here I think was Sparky Linux. That refused to start, don't know why. So let's get on with the install, which means we double click the hack button. Now before I install I will just show you how to log in, which is you've got to set the default to XFCE and the password is just keep it empty, keep it blank and just press enter, but you've got to set the default to XFCE. So I'm going to show you that in a VirtualBox because I can't show you on real hardware, and so check that out. Okay, so we're going to be having a look at the Hackman Linux login, so let's get that up and running. So what we need to do here is choose the XFCE session. Now I'll show you what happens if you don't. So we press that, leave that blank, press enter, and it comes back to the login screen. So you need to select XFCE, hit that, leave that enter, and leave it blank and press enter. And you are now logged into Hackman Linux. So now we will install Hackman Linux. Sorry about the loud clicking, but I didn't have enough ports for my wireless mouse. Okay, so English. Prepare installation. Set virtual console. I have to think that is US. Set desktop keyboard layout. That would have to be US as well. Partition disk. SDA. SDB is my USB running this operating system, so you can't do anything with that. So automatic partitioning, do not select UEFI GPT, only partitioning tool for a BIOS MBR. Okay, so running UEFI here, so you can use parted. I'm not sure about parted, I know G parted, so I might use that one. Okay, so let's delete all of these. Delete, I can't, okay, so delete these first. I need to unmount that, do I? Yes, I do. Now I can delete. Now we have full unallocated space. Let's apply that first. Now just to be sure that we are under GPT, yep. So device and view device information, partition tables GPT, which allows you to have as many partitions as you like. I think that's right anyway. So first of all we'll make a 512 megabyte UEFI, let's make it FAT32 primary partition. Yes, you can, I think with GPT you can have as many primary partitions. I think that's how that works. I don't have a good memory for that stuff. So let's go new. We'll go 4,000 on that. It's 4,096 for swap. Primary partition and a Linux swap. Add that. And the next will be the operating system. Now, being given that it's Manjaro based, I might make a 50 gigabyte hard drive should be enough for Linux normally. So I'll give it 51,200 megabytes. ext4 and add. And then the next one will be straight out ext4. That's my data. So I might, I can't do nothing with that yet. That's apply that first. I'm glad they have gparted because it's a good tool, gparted. Very simple, not very confusing either. Okay, so saying the volume is mounted. I didn't really finish off what I wanted to do. Okay, so back to terminal, is it? Geez, my gparted went hiding there on me. Okay. Alright, that's done. Now, we need to unmount that because we need to add the flags, manage flags for boot ESP for UEFI boot. There we go. That's better. Let's unmount this one as well. And this one's going to have a label called data, so it can be recognized as data. Let's apply that. Okay, so I'm done with gparted. I don't want encryption. I don't want logical volume management. Mount partitions. Partitions can be mounted without formatting them by selecting the skip. Yep. Okay, okay. Select root partition, this is where Arch will be installed, which is the 50 gigabytes. That's where it's going to be installed. Skip that, we don't want to, I've already done my partitioning. Mount successful. Select swap partition if using a swap file, that one there. Yep, okay. And select UEFI partition, which is the 512 megabytes. No, I don't want to repartition, that's already done. select UEFI mount point, boot EFI, mount successful, and we are done. So press enter, then go back, install base, install the base packages. So base packages are installed, so we'll run this script here, which is very normal for an Arch-based distro. We'll install the bootloader, which will be grub. Some UEFI firmware may not detect the bootloader unless it is set as default by copying its EFI stub to boot EFI FI boot and renaming it to boot by 64. It is recommended to do so unless already using default bootloader, or we're intending to use multiple bootloaders. Yeah, we'll set it as default, and we can go back, configure the base, generate FS tab, and that's done. Recommended is UUID, which is this one here, device UUID. Set the host name. I'll call this Lenovo Hack. That sounds good. Set system locale, which will be English AU, should be, yep. Set time zone, which is for me Australia, Perth. Yep. UTC is the universal time standard and is recommended unless you're dual booting with Windows. Set the root password. Add the new user, which is me, which is all lowercase. Enter the password for the new user. Re-enter. Security and system tweaks, well, amend journal logging, disable core dump, restrict access. No, I'm not interested in any of that. I don't want to review anything, and I am now done. Close the installer, yes. So now we will, I'll save my video, and then I will boot into the new installed desktop, and we'll go from there. Okay, so we are back in the desktop of Hackman Linux. Now, the first thing we get is this error here. Please make sure that directory home bin exists or configure it with Blue Man servers. I'm assuming that's relating to the Bluetooth. So let's just click OK on that one. Select user. Let's go me, password. Okay, that all seems to be Bluetooth enabled. Okay, so I'm not sure whether we'll get that message again. I don't know why the install's still showing. Maybe they forgot to take it out when they post install. Maybe we'll just move that to the rubbish bin for now, and let's just move that down here a bit so we can see the name of the person behind this distro, which is Ben Fitzpatrick. and also Matthew Moore. So I'm just going to have a quick look around the desktop. We've got some favorites here: File Manager, Web Browser, Mail Reader and Terminal. So let's have a quick look what they've got in here. Catfish file search, bulk rename, backups. That looks like Deja Dupe, probably. Not sure. Deja Dupe, there it is written in the window button down on the panel there. So that's definitely Deja Dupe. Okay, let's have a look. Accessories. Conky Manager, disks. That must be GNOME disks, I'd say. Yep, that's GNOME disks. That's a good choice. I'm not overly familiar with that. I need to start using that. Archive Manager, Calculator, HP, Device Manager, Menu Editor, Mousepad, Notes, Orage, Global Time, Screenshot, Sensor Viewer, Task Manager, Thunar File Manager, Vim, Edit Text Files, and XFBurn. So let's have a quick look at the task here. We're using 16% of the memory, and I am recording, remember that, and CPU's up at 80%. And this is a very low spec laptop, so that's not too bad at all. Development, you got some Qt4 design apps there. LibreOffice Math. We've got Steam installed, that's nice. Linux Breakout 2. I'm not sure what that's about, but it's a game anyway. Graphics, Blender, GIMP, LibreOffice Draw, Pinter, Shotwell, Simple Scan, View Noir. So to put a couple of, this is a viewer, and this one edits. So that's probably why they got the two in there, which makes sense. If you want to edit files, you can use Pinter. If you want to view them, you use View Noir and Simple Scan. Internet, Chromium, Deluge, it's a bit torrent, yep. EzeeLinux, browse World Wide Web in text mode, okay. FileZilla, Firefox, so they've got Chromium and Firefox, that's good. HexChat, that just gives you a choice of which one you want to use. Mumble, I've never used that before, I'm not sure what this is either. Let's have a look, doesn't say. Pigeon, never used that. And you got Steam there, Thunderbird. I wonder what version of Thunderbird this one is up to. You'd have to think it's the newer one, which is, I haven't tried the newer one yet. So let's have a look. Taking a little while to open. So we're up to Thunderbird and ZenMap. Okay. Multimedia, Audacity Cheese, GovCView, Handbrake, K3B. Handbrake is for encoding your transcodes, DVD, Blu-ray and other media. Very good program. K3B for disk writing, for writing to disk. Kdenlive, nice. And I'd like to see what version that's up to as well. So let's have a look in here and see if we can find Kdenlive 1808, really nice. That is nice, 1808. And that works well with an app image too. I've tried that already, I'm running that as an app image. Works good. About Thunderbird. 60, nice. Really nice that. It's Thunderbird 60, so that's nice. Looks big. Being Arch based, I would suppose you would expect everything to be up to date anyway. Media info supplies technical and tag information about a video or audio file, nice. Open shots. So you got Kdenlive and open shots. Pulse audio volume, rhythm box, simple screen recorder I've installed, video for Linux. I'm not sure what that is, haven't used that before. VLC, we all know what that is. XFBurn, Office, LibreOffice, you'd have to think that, yep, that's 6. You can tell by the icon, opening icon there, or splash, or whatever you call it. It's definitely 6. No doubt about that. And of course, being Arch based, everything's always up to speed anyway, as far as applications are concerned. Everything's a bit slow on here. That's not reflective of the distro itself. It's because it's a low spec laptop and I'm recording. 6103, yep. Good. Back to Office, LibreOffice, Arrange, Calendar, Global Time, and a Q PDF View. We have settings for XFCE, no doubt. I don't know if they've got any customized settings. I wouldn't think so. Window Manager tweaks, yep. Software updates. So that will be the usual selection of XFCE settings. And you have system here. Print settings. Add remove software. Okay, that's in there. Gparted is in there. HTOP, yep. K3B again is in there under system. View hardware health, X sensors. Terminal, Thunar file manager, system profiler, software update. Okay, so all good stuff there. It's probably got a lot more applications than most people would probably want, but at least it's integrated in the system, probably more than likely guaranteed to work, so you've got some options there. I don't mind having a few extra. I would either like to start from scratch with a perfectly good running base and just install everything, knowing that once you install, it's definitely going to integrate and work well with no errors, or it comes installed and you remove it. But a lot of those applications installed are very good applications, so I would just tend to leave them in there. They shouldn't be overworking the laptop too much anyway, and considering I'm recording here, it's running quite well. So what we have here is the Hackman updater and installer. So we have some updates pending. So I'll have a look at the preferences here, and authentication is required. So and the AUR, I want to turn on the AUR. So that's done, and I'll update again. Okay, so let's run the updates and see how we go. Okay, so the system is up to date. We have some sound settings here. Have a big time there. I like a big time. Can see it better. I'm not sure what this is here in the corner. I'm not sure what GPU chooser. Okay, maybe if you got maybe NVIDIA, I'd have to think. Bluetooth, and that's your mail, and this is your weather. So how do we select that? Right click, properties, I would say, and let's change that to Perth. Find Perth, Australia. Nice, there we go. Oh, and we need to change the properties again to units. What happened there? Perth, Australia. Time zone. Put that on Celsius. Kilometers per hour. Millimeters and meters. Okay, that's that. And okay, so let's just have a quick look at the system settings. Settings manager. I don't know why that didn't come up. Maybe our settings manager, there we go. I did system, didn't I? Okay, that's why I didn't find it. And we have everything under there for XFCE in the settings manager. And that's your standard XFCE choices under the system settings manager there. Right click and desktop settings. Looks like we have a few different desktop wallpapers to choose from. Not too many. I like to use my own anyway, so that's all right. Clock, time, it's the usual XFCE clock. So that is Hackman Linux. It's got quite a few applications in there, very handy ones as well, and very good choices, I believe. We have a power manager there, presentation mode. Not sure what that's supposed to do. Right click, you got properties, charging, power manager settings directly from there. That's a good idea. And you can set your power manager settings from here. So the usual XFCE stuff anyway. So one thing I almost forgot to mention, I had to slot this video in, it was the fact that they have a top panel launcher, or a panel launcher up the top. If we have a look at the properties of that, well, let's have a look at the panel panel preferences. That is an actual panel itself, so it's always good to see people integrate the standard XFCE panel into a system. It's much more efficient, uses less resources, and so much easier to do, and it's a lot quicker. Most importantly, it's installed, it's running well. I've done some updates. What I might do now is just do a quick restart to make sure that updates haven't affected system boot in any way, and we'll take it from there. We've booted back into Hackman Linux. There's no boot issues at all after updates, but I am still getting this make sure that directory home ben exists. Maybe there's something we need to do to sort that out. I'll have to maybe have a search and see what's going on with that. So that's definitely to do with the Bluetooth. So we've got to select that every time. Maybe we need to find a way to make that default with my name. And we need to do this one again as well. So that's just putting the password and selecting your username seems to sort that, but only for this session. And then once you reboot, be back to probably popping back up again. So yep, no issues with Hackman Linux after updates. Just one thing I'd like to mention is this is what I do. Okay, so we've got to select user every time here when we do things. That needs to be changed. I'm not sure what's going on there. Haven't come across that issue before. So what I did with the install is just to show you the FAT32 512 megabyte partition for booting, Linux swap, and a 50 gig hard drive for the operating system, and then the data file. And the reason I do that is if Manjaro becomes unstable in any way and has a problem with boot and you can't fix it, you can just reinstall. So, and you can probably copy over some of your Firefox or Google stuff in your home folder here. I haven't got a .mozilla, there we go. So, and you can copy that. And I don't know if there's a .chromium or anything. I'm not sure about that one. And then you can put them back in once you install if your settings for Firefox are important. But that's why I have a separate partition for the operating system, especially on an Arch base, just in case something goes pear-shaped and you can't, and you've tried everything to fix it and you can't fix it, and a reinstall happens, your data is safe. You only just have to reinstall back onto the 50 gig partition. So that is Hackman Linux. Hope you enjoyed the video, and thank you for watching.